It is time for Premier's Picks here on the Green Zone. Don't know, Premier, if you're the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, what would your answer be to the question on what to do with Kevin Glenn?
Oh, am I ever glad I'm not the head coach? That would be my answer. I think I'd start Kevin Glenn. Where do we get the best chance to win? I think it's Kevin Glenn.
You're benching Brett?
I don't think. No. I'm a huge. Oh man, it's a tough decision. Okay, so you're going in and against Winnipeg. Well, he won't be available for Winnipeg.
It'll be Ottawa.
Ottawa. I think you'd go Glenn and have a really a quick hook if it's not going well.
Deciding your cabinet sounds like it's easier.
It is easier. Well, we could have both of them. You could put Brett finance and Kevin Glenn could do municipal affairs. Don't tell the current ministers that.
We know they listen, though. You're going to have an uncomfortable meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, we already had cabinet today, so I'm good for a while.
This is Premier's Picks, and this is how it works.
What would you guys do? Hang on now. What would you do, Jamie?
Well, Brett Smith. Brett Smith's the guy.
Really?
Oh yeah, Brett Smith's the guy. No, the playoffs are well into the horizon. Brett Smith's the guy.
You too, Woodsy?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with Brett Smith, and I'm not totally convinced Kevin Glenn's even the backup. I think you roll with the young guy. If the young guy has a chance to get in there, I think the playoffs are a real long shot, and I think you take the opportunity to start looking at what you have.
So let's assume the teams won. We beat Winnipeg, so we're one game behind Winnipeg. The Eastern teams at the bottom aren't doing that great. You think, okay, now maybe the season's not over.
We've had this conversation all week, pretty much, and you'd have to. I think you got to win at least 6 of your remaining games, right? Probably 7. I don't know. I think it's a real long shot. Plus Montreal and Ottawa, you got to beat those 2 teams.
Until it's nearly a mathematical impossibility, do you not say, okay, what gives us the best chance to win? And I'm actually not sure that Brett Smith doesn't give you the best chance to win. It's just a lot of experience and a pretty good quarterback in Kevin Glenn. Boy, that's a tough one.
Woodsy, you misspoke. You said the playoffs are a long shot. No, I think you meant the playoffs have long been shot for the Saskatchewan Roughriders this season after an 0-9 start, and they still have games against Calgary, Edmonton, and Hamilton ahead in the schedule after they take care of some of the lesser lights in the Canadian Football League.
Well, how many years did they sign Glenn for?
I think it was 2 this year and next.
So the trade, is there many? Are there many on the Green Zone saying trade?
We've had a few callers.
Yeah,
I think it has to be an option. If one of those teams looking for a quarterback gives you a ring, you have to be listening to all offers for a lot of the players on this roster.
I think you just don't give them away, though.
No, that would be. I think that's probably right. Like, for example, Toronto. They didn't look very good. Harris did not look very good, and obviously Ricky Ray's not ready. And so, if they're serious about trying to give Hamilton a run, do they offer something pretty good for Glenn?
The one problem here, though, Premier Wall, is I don't think there's Hugh Jackson is employed with anybody in the Canadian Football League that to give you the yield that the Raiders gave up for Carson Palmer a few years ago.
Oh, why did you go there? Why did you? I mean, things are looking up for the Raiders.
Do you know why I went there? Because the Raiders take on Hugh Jackson's Cincinnati Bengals this weekend.
They're going to beat them.
And I want the Raiders to beat them down just as some sort of retribution for giving up way too much for Carson Palmer.
They're going to beat them.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm putting that down. Premier, Jamie, and I both go with the Oakland Raiders to win this weekend.
Andy Dalton's going to be running for his life from 52. Running for his life.
So this is how it works here on Premier's Picks. The fans are up against the Premier this year, and it's still a tie after everybody went 3-1 last week, except for moi. Everybody gained a game on me as I was 2-2 last week. So Premier Wall, Gary Nickel of the Fan Zone, and the fans all have a 20-24 record in Premier's Picks. So closing in on 500. And slightly closing in on myself as the leader of Premier's Picks. So this is how it works at 306. Send in your selections. Who are the 4 winners this week in the Canadian Football League? Hamilton against Toronto, Saskatchewan against Winnipeg, Calgary against Edmonton, and Ottawa in BC against the Lions. The fans The Premier has caught you, so you need to make those selections. Hurry up at 306. Make them now. But as you think about that, we'll get our picks on the air right here with Premier Wall. Gary Nickel also, who almost was 4 for 4.
Traded. Gary has not yet been traded.
Not yet. We're listening
Still.
to all offers.
Still, hey, easy now. Mr. Premier, you were right, by the way. You do whatever it takes to win until it's not actually possible anymore. In Saskatchewan, anyway, that's what we do. You do whatever it takes. So I'd go with Kevin Glenn as well.
Thanks, Gary.
A coffee for a week has been the
I'm
best.
sure the Premier feels really good about that.
Yeah.
We better not trade Gary. He's the only guy on the show with any sense.
See? This is what I'm talking about.
No,
I was going to say
I didn't know this question.
the best offer for Gary has been a week's worth of coffee. That's all we've gotten so far. Still looking for offers. But let's get to the
that's
picks.
pretty good.
Premier Wall. A short week for Hamilton and Toronto. They played Monday. We'll play Friday night in Toronto this time. Do you think the Argos have any chance at retribution against the Ticats?
I'm going to bet you a week's worth of coffee that Hamilton wins.
I am not taking that bet because I'm also going with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Gary Nickel.
And the fan zone will also go with the Ticats. And thanks for talking to my salary there. 1 to 2 weeks of coffee is pretty good deal.
But
So I bet that as well.
I think it was only the 1 week.
Well, only one so far.
A boy can dream, can't he?
306 is the text line to weigh in. Who do you got between Hamilton and Toronto fans? And also up next, full disclosure, the Premier always goes with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They won by 18 last week. How do you think this one breaks down,
I
Premier
think
Wall?
we're going to win by 10 this week. Randall's out for the season, is that right? That's their weak side
Yeah,
linebacker.
yeah.
That's
Yep.
been pretty good. Yeah. Boy, they've got the injury. I think I pounded with injuries, too. It's going to be the Riders by a touchdown or so. 7 or 10.
I am also going with the Saskatchewan Roughriders for the third week in a row. It's been rare I've picked the Riders this year after that streak, but Brett Smith, I liked what I saw from him last week. Gary Nickel.
Yeah, same thing, Jamie. The fan zone takes the Riders. Brett Smith is climbing that ladder, and we're seeing something special, I think. And dare I say, hope.
The next game, the Calgary Stampeders up in Edmonton this time. Looks like, I'm guessing Mike Riley will be the starter. They say they won't announce it until tomorrow, but if he's well enough to play the fourth quarter, he should be good enough to start this week. Premier Wall, Calgary, Edmonton.
I mean, if I were the Eskimos and thought that Riley could start, I would. If they do start him, I don't know, does he finish? Because he'll want to run the ball, and Calgary's defense, and no, Stampeders, and I'm not sure Riley finishes the game.
Gary?
That was a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire type answer. Hey, thinking out loud?
Yeah.
I like that.
And I didn't phone a friend, though. But if I
That's
did,
true.
Gary, you would be at the top of the list.
This is why you're my guy, Mr.
No, it's
Premier.
true.
The fan zone, once again, goes with the Premier, and we'll take the Stamps.
It's
My guy.
but it's an inverted list, so he works from bottom to top.
Hey, a list is a list, Jamie. I'll take it.
No, it's not inverted. Right at the top.
Okay. Gary can. I took the Eskimos. I paid for it. Can they win lose 13 straight to the Stampeders?
Yeah,
Here we go.
they can, but I'd pick them. They're in Commonwealth. Pretty tough there.
I'm going to go with the Edmonton Eskimos this
Nice.
week.
It worked, Gary. It worked again.
There
We
we
did
go.
it,
I'm
just
gonna
like we
do it.
planned.
And now the final game of the week, the Ottawa Redblacks out in Vancouver to take on the BC Lions on Sunday.
So who's playing quarterback for BC?
It'll be back.
Lule's
Yeah.
out 3 to 6.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Ottawa.
The Ottawa Redblacks is the Premier Wall's selection. Gary Nickel.
The fan zone chooses the Lions, and you'll be able to hear this repeat at 4:30 on Saturday during the game. Just so you know, Mr. Premier, I know you'll be listening.
I will be.
He loves the
Thank
fan
you.
zone plugs. That Gary Nickel. Well done once again. I am I got to go Ottawa. Without Elamimian, I think Jeremiah Johnson has a big game for the Ottawa Redblacks in BC.
Alamimian's also out.
Yes.
I got to read my briefing notes better. I'm obviously I picked Ottawa, so that's good. But
Yes, absolutely. So there are the picks. The Premier going Hamilton.
Woodsy, I thought you were supposed to send me some notes before I got on, just in case I missed some of the latest.
Oh, I
NFL news.
guess I missed that email.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's working
When
for
the
Jamie.
Premier sends you one, I guess you should probably open it. But
No, it might be like it might be a tax notice or something. Don't open those.
Premier's picks are Hamilton, Saskatchewan, Calgary, and Ottawa. What say you, the fans? Who are your 4 winners this week on Premier's picks? We'll recap next week. Premier Wall, have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
And go Raiders as they take on Cincinnati this week. Bonus selection if they win. The Premier and I get an extra point. 306-306, that is the text line. What say you, the fans? Hamilton, Saskatchewan, Calgary, Ottawa. That's how the Premier sees it. How do you see it this weekend with a couple of Labor Day rematches? This is the Green Zone on 980 CJME.